Hello, Aries. Welcome back to the channel. Aries, the Emperor here. I am back with another general reading for all of my Aries collective. If you guys are new here, welcome. Hit that like and subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I upload or go live. Thank you to those of you who do like, subscribe, comment, share, donate, book personal readings, shop the website. I am working to get personal readings out to you guys as well as candle orders, and I am going to do something very special. Okay, like I said, this is the countdown to that Aries, at that Aries super moon. Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna do, to start, I'm going to, and this is right now, I feel is spirit speaking through me. Okay, all personal readings, minus the video readings and the emergency readings. I'm going to do a sale for $33.33, and that is on all of the readings that I offer. And that would be minus the question reading and minus the video reading and the emergency reading. All other readings are $33.33. I'm not going to adjust it on the website. So if this is something that you're wanting to connect with me now, in between the time being, until we get to, like I said, that that actual Aries moon energy. So email me. All of my information is in the description box down below, if interested. Okay, other than that, we're finna jump on into this thing and see what messages come out for you in the spread. Sun in Libra, moon in Aquarius. You cannot tell me unless you living under a rock or you say to yourself that you have not been seeing, witnessing, experiencing, strange things. Because that's what that energy is. Or if it's not you actually experiencing it, feeling it. Okay, let's get deeper. Somebody could be feeling it against you, child. But baby, that's what I'm here for. Let's get into it, y'all. I hope everyone is doing amazing on today. I feel like I am living in, if not the most interesting city, the most eyes on a city in America. If there was a top 5, I think I would feel like the city I'm in is definitely in the top 3 right now, if not number 1 or number 2, right? Like, you guys, I wish I could give some of you guys a first-hand encounter. It's wild. I mean, it really is wild. All right, let's get into it. Messages for Aries. All right, photo proof. All right. Getting evidence. Bad habits, drugs, addictions, toxicities. So this could be an energy of somebody saying, I feel like somebody's speaking on, and it doesn't have to necessarily be drugs or alcohol. If it resonates somewhere along those lines, then, fine. But I feel like this is an energy of like maybe people or in the past, or it's just like someone in a conversation, trying to, if your name is brought up, trying to, well, I have some type of evidence or some type of proof that the collective, used to partake in A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I mean? Like, this is that type of energy. And even if you did partake in any energy, as far as I'm concerned, we all are grown. You know what I mean? As far as things aren't going out, it's not something that you didn't sign up for, and I just really feel like this is an energy where, no bad is any different from the next bad. You know what I mean? Shit's all bad if the word bad is involved, right? It's not good, right? So I feel like this is an energy, when people come into contact with you, and whether or not they fall out with you or not, if they try and say something negative about you to other people, it raises a red flag in the other person automatically because of their own personal relationship with you, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean? And this may even be people who call themselves not liking you. I still see them on a tip of still not going along with just anything being said about you. You know what I mean? And look, ain't shit. See? You could have kicked something. And whoever is that you left back there is still working to kick it. And maybe now, you ain't shit because you haven't relapsed. You know what I mean? Or you haven't thrown the towel in. Running. Full speed, nonstop. A lot of you guys are healthy, reflecting. And I mean healthy as far as, most importantly, mentally. And that's the scariest thing for anybody to see you come with. Everybody knows you as physical strength, hothead, you know what I mean, fiery. But when it comes down to actual mental, and I say that not saying anybody's an idiot or you know what I mean. Of course, we know you guys aren't idiots, but I mean that as far as, is mental, Aries is, you're more physical, than someone who can sit somewhere, and what you would call boring, you know what I mean, would be something that they're actually interested in. But when people start to see you tap into that, because people can look at you and look at fire signs, especially, as just, what's the number one thing? Impatient, anger, temper. Like, pick one. That is top three. You know what I mean? And I mean, that could be true, but the word for it is passionate. You know what I'm saying? So you're welcome is what you ought to tell them the next time they try and hit you with that. But when you bring, that actual fire and that physical, because that element alone is something that is unattainable. And you contain it. You know what I mean? Or at least you're the one gifted to do that. So you have that already as an advantage, So when you really sit down and you channel that fuel up to your mind, up to your brain space. Oh, you know what I mean? You gonna clear the room out with that type of energy, with that type of space. And for whoever has anything to say, you need to let them know, get some photo proof on that since you want to run your damn mouth and speak on me, i.e. the collective. Okay. All right. We have love triangle. Okay. Not the type of triangle that I like or mess with. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can agree with me. That type of thing can create bad karma. You know what I'm saying? And this could very well be something that is happening at this time. Is third party of some sort here. Maybe somebody spending a little bit too much time with somebody at work. Conversations may be a little bit too personal with someone, inappropriate. Or this could be just somebody flat out cheating. You know what I mean? This could be just the example of you can't treat an all dog new tricks. This could possibly be somebody that needs, to actually sit down and explore what they want sexually. Because I feel like this is what this is really geared towards someone who is mentally or traumatically affected by something and is expressing it sexually. And I don't expect that to resonate with everyone, but just in general here, a love triangle, you could find out that you're in the middle, of a love triangle. But let's hope that's not the case, okay? I never want to speak anything like that on any of you guys, okay? All right, so let's get into it. Let's see what messages come out in the spread for you. It's October, baby. Like, fume is the sound that my I hear inside my head when I think about this year. Here today and day by day, definitely leaving and gone tomorrow, okay? But let's see what messages come out for you in the spread. Aries, you're not lacking nothing. You always 2 steps, 10 steps, however many steps you need to be ahead of you. Because who you were yesterday is not who you are today. Let your beauty radiate in a different way today. Inside and out. Divine masculine and divine feminine. All right, messages for the collective spirit. What you got for me? And I feel like this is a time, if not strange things have been happening, it's just giving an energy with the placements as well. Like things that you may, like I said, things that you may have together. You may have, been in an energy where, you're being consistent and you're trying to stay in an energy of being balanced. That Aquarius energy, like I said, it's ruled by Saturn and Uranus is things happening out of the blue, money woes out of the blue, that sort of thing here. Just whatever you have on track, this is an energy for it to knock it off track. Okay. And especially for fire signs, not just you, Aries. I did a little, because I've been practicing and learning more and more, delving deeper into astrology and confirming my sources. For fire signs, especially Aries, now is not the time to overdo it in anything. All right. Don't, for your own good, don't you write a check that your ass can't cash. Okay. Don't bite off more than you can chew. All right. That's a better one. Okay. Is what that energy basically is saying. Just kind of keep your eyes on everything. Just kind of know what's going on and go accordingly. This is more of a go with the flow type of energy. Okay. Coupled with your energy entering into the mix here in a few days, very heavy. If you catch my drift, that's why I'm saying this. Okay. All right, we have the 10 of Cups to come out. Cancer energy. I feel like I really need to just go and just do a full out astrology channel, but I'm like, a lot of people are bored by it, but for me, it's the love. Okay. And for me, it makes sense. It adds up. It connects with science, it connects the spiritual, with the physical. So love every bit of it. We have the moon in reverse and the 10 of Pentacles to come out in reverse as well here. So with the 10 of Cups energy, this could be something going right for you. This could be everything in harmony, or your idea of a great week, a great day of some sort here, and especially with the moon in reverse, the normally upright, that would be an energy of, having to deal with things that are a pain in the ass for one, and not just a pain in the ass, is just something that you didn't have, planned as a part of your day. But with it in reverse, these are things that you're able to catch before they happen. You know what I mean? It's you're able to save, that type of energy here. And whether that be as far as, you may be about to do something with your emotions when it comes to someone, or just in general satisfy your emotions in something, and then you decide not to, or something comes to light and it kind of sways you away from that, but it in all actuality, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, it's a save, and not just a save in the long run. You know what I mean? This here is something to help you avoid so much damage or what could have happened, you know what I mean, or something necessarily that you didn't need or don't need to tie yourself to. Okay, the Ten of Cups coming out first is Cancer energy, so that is speaking that you have a formula already, you have a foundation already, whether that be in your family, who you have as a family, or friends, or support, or just however you look at it. The Ten of Cups symbolizes that as what you do have being something very strong. You know what I mean? And not just strong, comforting, and something that is, a place of growth, and definitely energy if you need to recharge, refuel. It's definitely not a perfect, you know what I mean? But it's definitely something that you're not only proud of, but the spirit in the heavens above are proud of you as well. You know what I mean? Because as above, so below is what the Ten of Cups symbolizes. So what do you need somebody else coming in and telling you what you are already, just received the phone call, just looked at your phone and received the text message here. I feel like you have people who may try and make themselves look more of, how can I say this? You have people who want some of the same things that you have. And this is an energy of people maybe not physically being able to gravitate towards you, but in a way, trying to figure out a way, to kind of align their lives to what they do and what they do know from what they've learned from you, direct or indirectly. It's just like an energy where people feel like, it's people, they're so stuck in what they have going on, and that's not a bad thing, but I'm trying to use this as an example of, people are just so stuck on a narrative on how something is supposed to look. You know what I mean? Maybe because it worked out for them, but people forget, you know what I mean, that as time goes on, things change. Nothing stays the same as you see. You know what I mean? Some things, may seem like they say the same, but for the most part, they don't. And I say that to say this. One thing that has not changed, and that's the history of you. People like you, people that carry that fire. We have the Queen of Wands energy to come out here, Aries energy. It's a warmth. And I always like to say that is so comforting, but can be so scarring, literally at the same time. And with you, and there are no sword cards out here yet, and that is what not until now, what you don't see coming. You see what I mean? What you don't, and right after that is the Ace of Swords. Okay, so basically, like, this is giving the Queen of Wands here with her camera, and like I started the reading and spoke on, you come already camera crew ready, right? Literally sparklers, like parties here. Okay, so all you missing, like I said, is when you really sit down and you really pull your brain together and your wits together, and that's when the magic really happens. That's when you paralyze people and everything that you could stop a person in their tracks with. You know what I mean? And then why do you think she's carrying a camera? I tell y'all all the time, a lot of you guys, are motion picture worthy. You know what I mean? Whether that's something simple somebody is getting to watch in real time in front of your face and in real life or on camera, but one thing is for sure, it's worth shutting everything down, even the skies above, with the Judgment energy. Somebody could have thought, and I don't know why, it's like You were sleeping. They counted you out. I don't know why I'm getting you are a fraud. But of course, we know that's not true. All right, we have the Page of Wands, which is also Aries energy for me. Uh-oh. I feel like people used to take your, or as they would say, immaturity. Maybe your childlike character of some sort here, your youthfulness of some sort, regardless of your age. I feel like people looked at it as childish, immature. Now realizing that it is essential. There's nothing immature about it. You know what I mean? How do you know that you're alive? Collective, let me ask you that. Ask anybody. How do they know that they are alive? For me, the answer would be because I can feel. That's how you know you're alive. You feel. And who starts life doing that? You. So, of course, like, people may call you the most impatient and the most dramatic or whatever it is that the loudest or whatever. It's not because you're trying. You know what I mean? But like I said, all that childishness and immaturity and guess what? People are who at certain, I feel like, ages in their life right now who shouldn't even be thinking about things to make themselves look younger, or having to do those things on the accord of you, or feeling like they need to adjust those things on the accord of you. Look, this Queen of Wands with this camera. Self. Think about that. Camera, it captures everything. Body, face, whatever, right? Imperfections, impurities, whatever you don't like. It's right there in your face, just like me on this camera. Whatever I don't like, boom, it's here, okay? In your face, okay? But like, that's what that Queen of Wands energy is. A lot of you guys have reached the point where comfortability is your best friend. You know what I mean? Because authenticity, you already that. You might as well sink into the skin you in. But not everybody does that. And like I said, this goes back to self. So in that, every time, Aries, you send them back to self. Strength. Leo energy. You could bruise a lot of egos, I feel like, but you don't. That's why that strength Leo energy came out upright. Instead of bruising the lion, Aries, you know what I'm saying? You'll go ahead and pet him. You'll be nice. You'll throw a steak or whatever they eat, over to them. Extend an olive branch of some sort here. And people don't realize that. It's like you could know all of somebody's dirty deeds. Justice. You could have microphone in hand. Say whatever you want or need to. Anybody, I feel like, when it comes to you, will listen to what you have to say. Four of Wands, Nine of Wands, Sagittarius energy. Aries, Four of Wands energy, and Nine of Wands is Sagittarius energy. Aries, this is an energy where you getting tired of cleaning up people's messes. You know what I mean? a lot of y'all are like, hey, you tired of feeling like a mess. You know what I mean? Or you may see a situation headed in that direction, you know, and or you may feel like I said, been saying in the past couple of readings, I feel like it's time for you to get your broomstick out and your mop and start to sweep and clean some things out. I hope you guys took your cinnamon through your doorstep at the beginning of the month here, because this is what this is, an information of it. This is what this is symbolizing, the Four of Wands, something, a threshold. Just keep getting energy like that, crossing over into something, stepping into something, breaking ground in something, just signing the paperwork, finalizing the deal in some sort of way here. This could be relationship, career, finances, just however it resonates here. You know, with this Nine of Wands energy, this is a cleanup crew here. Okay, like this is something, like I said, you know, this is renovations. This is something that's going to be unrecognizable to you, and it should be. You know, because you are that, you're so used to going through so much, like it takes a lot to really move you, you know, and that's not because you are an arrogant person, and it's not because, you know, you are just angry or mad at the world. You know what I mean? It's definitely not that. Okay. But it's, like I said, man, you've been through, you've seen, you've gone through a lot. Uh-oh. This is like someone feeling at home. But we have the Five of Cups to come out, Scorpio energy. And we have the Seven of Wands, which is Sagittarius, Leo energy. The King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Star. The Knight of Wands is what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck here. And this is the Star underneath, but of course, naked. So we'll have to leave her where she is. All right, so let's take a look. Let's just see what we got here in general, in all Aries to come. Like, what's really going on? There's an energy of just people sweating you. These are people suffering in silence. I see someone who's just not happy with themselves. And you somehow could be a part of this equation. But I'm not putting any fault on you. A lot of you guys are going to be, you know, dealt with a difficult task here. And when it boils down to it, it's going to be more so an energy like, do you want to make friends or do you want fans? You know, do you want friends or do you want success? Do you want friends or do you want enemies? You know, and I feel like even with the friends thing, once you get on your path, when your money starts flowing with this King of Pentacles energy, honestly, that's when you're able to think straight. That's when you're able to consider things health wise. I feel like those who are depressed, if money isn't the root, to solve all problems, but I feel like that would take a lot of stress off of more than half of, the people going through it. You know what I mean? And I mean that as far as, when you're practicing, when the load feels lighter, you know what I mean? You're able to put more in the right areas, so that things that you already do, there's that extra twinkle that you add to it, that extra shine that you add to, that only you can add to. And that's what this star energy and this King of Swords energy is, for you to be put in that position, for you to be put in front of that camera, behind that instrument, behind that microphone, in front of that moonlight, in that family, in that kitchen, on that runway, down that aisle. We have the Seven of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and the Three of Cups, Cancer energy. The High Priestess is what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to read. I'm reading. I'm like, yeah, I just said that. Yeah. Spirit, yeah. Okay, Seven of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Three of Cups. Like, for sure here. Do you see this 8-ball? What's the saying? 8-ball, corner pocket. And after that, you win the damn game, right? As far I haven't played pool in a long time, but if I'm not mistaken, if you don't mess around and knock it in too early, when you knock all your color balls in, this the last one here, and it look like you eyeballing it. I'm talking about eyeballing it good. Okay? Predator versus prey. Eyeballing it. And you must have hit something, Aries, or you're about to hit something, Aries, because there's a celebration, and something or someone, whether spiritual or physical, wants you a part of it. You're already a part of it. Keep going. You're moving into it. I mean, look at the candles riding in the boat with the lady, for God's sake. Candles like this, and most times it looks like for a celebration here to come, and with the color. So if I were you, I'd open up and receive this. All right. I'm going to leave this reading here, y'all. Hit that like and subscribe button for more messages from me. 33 on the clock. I'll catch you later. Ciao.